Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I am going to be reacting to your unpopular opinions about books. And so I am just going to be reacting and discussing each one, maybe ranting, maybe raving, we'll see, okay? I actually got a bunch on Instagram, so I'm super excited because a lot of them are good ones. Without further ado, let's just jump right into the video. And if you like extreme horror and thrillers, then definitely subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos. I don't know what that was. Okay, so let me go on to the Instagram screenshots. Okay, so let's just start from the beginning. I'm not going to mention anyone's names. So the first one I don't have an opinion on because this person said The Road by Cormac McCarthy sucks. I never read it. I own it. It's on my TBR, but I've never read it. I know a lot of people absolutely love him and love his books, and he just passed away recently. So I've been wanting to read that one, but I don't have an opinion on this one. So I guess I'll be the judge of that when I read it. Book talk, books aren't that good. Agree. I agree so strongly on this, okay? I am not a fan of TikTok. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I'm about to turn 30 or what. I don't ever go on TikTok. I don't use TikTok. And like when I do see a TikTok video or some kind of like book video, I don't know, like it just doesn't do it for me. Like you waving a book in my face like this for 3 seconds like doesn't make me want to read the book. And then I feel like a lot of those books that are popular on there are just kind of like mediocre Barnes & Noble's books that like, I don't even understand why they're that popular. Bunny by Mona Awad. I still don't get the hype. Girl, neither do I. Neither do I. I hate that book with a burning passion. I gave it 1 star. I don't understand what that book even is. It's just like babbling nonsense. That's what that book is. Babbling nonsense, okay? It doesn't make sense. It's a mess. It's a mess. I don't care what anyone says. And you know what? I'm not even a Mona Awad hater because I read All's Well and I liked it. So I just don't like Bunny. Hey Bunny, oh my god Bunny, you're so smart. Bunny, you're so funny. Bunny, oh my god Bunny, oh! I couldn't get through the physical book because I hated it. So I tried listening to the audio just to finish it and see if there was some kind of conclusion that made sense. There wasn't. And it was just like, oh my god Bunny, 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 Bunny. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. Next. You guys are getting shady. Kate Alice Marshall is a trash author. Okay, so I only read 1 book by this author, and that was What Lies in the Woods. It was like the book of the month thriller or whatever. And I did not like this book. I don't understand why so many people love this thriller. I didn't think it was that thrilling. I thought it was weird. Like the motives. Oh, are you talking to me? The motives like were just not there. It was just weird. And also her writing was like, I am surprised. I think I'm the only person that brought this up, or maybe like 1 or 2 other people have like mentioned it to me on Instagram. But in that book, she literally says, I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. I exhaled a loud breath. I inhaled a sharp breath. I took a deep breath. Like, it got to the point where she was saying this in every single paragraph. Seriously? Seriously. You're saying this constantly. So, I mean, I think I agree with this one. Like, that book turned me off. I don't think I'll read any other books by her. From what I understand, I think she reads mostly YA, writes mostly YA. But yeah, oh my gosh. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. Okay, Belle, what is going on? Camp Slaughter is the worst, most derivative trash horror novel I've ever read. read Camp Slaughter by Sergio Gomez. Is that who it's by? I hated this book. I completely agree with this. I hated this book. This is just like a general horror slasher book. It was, the writing, not good. Not good. Not a good slasher. Also, the weird comments about people who are asexual, like, I can't believe, let me just put it this way. The people who praise this book, I can't believe they are praising this book. Also, I am not a fan of general horror slashers. I think they're just boring, in my opinion. Boring and ridiculous, not a fan. Middle grade, horror or otherwise, is usually really good and often better written than adult novels. This one I don't have an opinion on. I don't think I've ever read any middle grade books. Off of my head, I honestly don't think I have, so I don't have an opinion, but I'm curious to see like if anyone else agrees, or if you have an opinion on this, definitely comment down below. Okay, Ninth House is boring. I agree. Yeah. So I read this one. It's like one of the few fantasy books that I've ever read in my entire life. It's like dark academia fantasy. And this book, I just wanted to see what the hype was about. Okay. So I tried reading it physically probably 3 times and I couldn't do it. Like, I just could not do it because I couldn't get into the writing and I thought it was boring. So then I got the audiobook from the library and I listened to it on audio, and like, I think I ended up giving it 3 stars. Like, it was okay. It just wasn't anything that I understood the hype of or was super invested in. And it was just, it ended up just being like mediocre for me. Like, it kind of got confusing and a little convoluted, and yeah, overall, I just was not a huge fan of that one. Riley Sager needs to calm the fuck down with the twists. Agree. Oh my gosh. I feel like, you know what? I like Riley Sager. I like his earlier books, but lately, what is going on with him? The twist on every page. The twists were no longer twisting for me. The only thing twisting was my brain because I could not fathom that I was reading a book with a twist on every page, which was, The Only One Left is the book that I'm talking about. Oh my god, I just made myself so dizzy. The Only One Left is his new book. That's the one with like a twist on every page. It was literally driving me insane. You know, I think obviously, like, I like twists, and most people like twists in their thrillers, but I honestly just think he goes overboard to the point where, like, some of them don't need to be done. Some of them are just so random. It's like, why was this even put in here? I think his books would be fantastic if it was just like a few good twists that just like really caught you off guard. Like, that's all you need to write a solid thriller. You don't need to put a twist on every page. Why is Maeve Fly so fucking popular? No, goodbye. Agree. I agree. I agree. This book is labeled as a female American Psycho. I just hated the main character. This book was so boring to me. Like, as someone that enjoys extreme horror, like, this one, not really extreme horror. I feel like it's a super watered down, toned down version of American Psycho, or like Full Brutal, like Kim from Full Brutal kind of situation, but like so watered down and diluted to the point where I was bored out of my mind. That was Mayfly. I don't understand the hype, honestly. I know everyone's like, oh, but there's like hidden meaning and commentary. I don't care. If a book is boring, I don't care if it has meaning and commentary. I could give a fuck less, because you know what? You put me to sleep approximately 45 times, okay? So I don't care what the meaning of the book is when I'm sleeping, okay? So I feel like this book was just pretentious. Like, the writing was pretentious, the main character pretentious. It was just on my last nerve, okay? More people need to branch out into not fantasy. There are other genres, people. Okay, so here's the thing. I agree and disagree with this one. I mean, I agree because I think a lot of people only read fantasy, and that's mostly what I see on like YouTube, Instagram. I don't go on TikTok, we know that. But that's like mostly what I see. A lot of fantasy and romance. And I think the thing with me is I'm not gonna bash an entire genre. So I'm not gonna bash fantasy. I don't read fantasy, so like I don't know enough about it to sit here on my high horse and like bash it, you know? But I will say that I think a lot of people that read fantasy read the same books. So like that's the other thing too. It's like you're constantly seeing the same books over and over and over and over and over again being recommended. But I feel like I know of like the top 20 fantasy books at all times because it's like all people post about. So like, yeah, I get it, but like I don't get it. So I don't want to make commentary on something that I don't get. When you have written as many books as Stephen King has, there will always be really bad ones. Oh, for sure. I think everyone can agree. I'm not a huge Stephen King fan, by the way, but I think everyone can agree, like Stephen King fans can agree that he has some really bad books, okay? I don't think you can put out multiple books a year and have every single one be a banger. It's just not possible. You shouldn't self-publish if you're not going to edit. Yes, I agree. I think it's very obvious when people, like I read a lot of, you know, indie authors and stuff, and I feel like it is noticeable when someone like self-publishes but doesn't do like a very clear edit on themselves. You know, and I think a lot of times you do need a separate set of eyes to catch these things. And yes, you are going to make typos, you are going to miss things when you're editing and proofreading, you're going to make grammar and spelling errors, okay? It's just human if you're doing it yourself. But if it's like constant, it's very noticeable that it was just like lazy. So yeah. Movies are a different media. Don't be so upset that it's a little different from the book. I agree. Yeah, movies are just totally different than books, and they're going to be different, and everyone's interpretation is going to be different, and I don't know, I feel like sometimes they have to make the movie a little bit different to like make it make sense more. I don't know, but I feel like the two are totally different, and I think it's fine if a movie is different than the book. And then going, like piggybacking off of that, some movies are better than the books. I'm usually a books is better than the movie sort of girl, but I don't watch a lot of movies. Like I don't watch movies consistently. So I don't know, give me an example because I'll probably agree with you. I just can't think of any off the top of my head. The book cover matters. So yes and no. I've read some really great books with terrible, shitty, bland covers. But I do think, you know, from like a marketing perspective, if a book has a gorgeous cover, like of course people are probably going to buy that over the book with just a plain black cover on it, you know? So yeah, I do think like I'm more gravitated towards a book if it looks pretty. I know that doesn't mean that the book is going to be great, duh, logic, but I do think you should try to have like cute covers. I don't know, sue me. Stop printing classics with old, thick, fuzzy font. It gives me a headache and looks bad. Agree. Like, what is up with that? Why do we have to make classics that are reprinted looking like they're from the 1800s? It just doesn't make sense to me. Stop using old paintings as classic book covers. They aren't related. Yeah, agree. It's just tacky. It's giving like tacky book that no one wants to read. Whatever you can say in 500 pages, you can say in 400, edit yourself. Yes, I am not a fan of these super long, drawn out books, which brings me into like the Stephen King debate here. I do like Stephen King. I'm not a huge fan of his because I am not going to sit down and choose to read a 1,000 page book. It's just not necessary in my opinion. And if it is necessary, break it up into a trilogy, okay? I don't think it is necessary to be that long-winded when you are writing. These long books, like if your book is more than 400 pages, chances are you had some things to cut out of there. Like, I don't care if you have great plot and character development and descriptions and details, it just doesn't need to be done most of the time. Just because it's horror doesn't mean it should have a black cover spine. Be creative. Yeah, I mean, like going back to the book cover thing, like I would like to see some cuter covers in horror, okay? Not that I'm judging a book by the cover, but I guess I am. The Laws of the Skies is a garbage book. Oh my god, great. Well, I was planning on reading that this month, so I guess we'll see. I guess we'll find out. Haven't read it yet, but I will say I'm going in with low expectations based on the people who have read it and have rated it high. No shade, just like people that have different tastes than me, so we'll see. Personal library stamps are dumb. I don't know what that is. Can someone please explain to me what that is, because I am not sure I know what that is. It is like from an actual library, or is it something that people are buying? I don't know. I don't give two shits about book spice levels. Please stop rating books by the Chili Peppers. I know. Oh my god, I keep seeing this on Instagram and I'm like, what is happening? I don't care. Okay, I don't care how spicy a book is. I know this is kind of like a smut romance Instagram thing, so like I don't see it that often, but like reading too many books a month is low-key a red flag. I'm just complaining at this point. You are all psychos. That was the whole rant that I went on in that wrap up. Like the people that consistently read like 30 books a month every single month, and that's their norm, it's just like a red flag. Like, what do you do? Whatever. I mean, I know there are some people that have legitimate reasons because they're like, oh, I listen to audiobooks like all day long at work and I have like a mind-numbing job. Okay, whatever. But like the people that work full-time and like don't listen to audiobooks and like what are you doing outside of work? Do you not sleep? I don't know, whatever. Anyways, I'm just complaining at this point too. I'm over books revolving around a podcast. Oh my gosh, the podcast thrillers. Can we please stop with the podcast thrillers? Like, it is every single book has a hot podcaster that comes to town to solve the crime, or there's a podcast element to it. I'm so sick and tired of it. I get triggered when I want to discuss horror books and everyone wants to talk about Stephen King. Agree. Like, it's fine if you love Stephen King, but like, do you not read anything else? Like, I think it's a red flag when people are like, oh, I only read Stephen King. Like, there are other authors that exist on this planet, okay? Animal cruelty is the worst kind of extreme horror. It's unnecessary all the time. Yeah, I mean, I understand why animal cruelty gets put into books because it's shock value. And it's real life. Like, people abuse and torture and kill animals, and it's disgusting, it's depraved, it's horrific, and you know, I'm like the biggest animal lover in the world, so I get super, super upset, and that's my biggest trigger. So I mean, I understand why it's done, but it is unnecessary cruelty all the time. Oh my god, especially in movies, like they show a dog that just like dies for absolutely no reason. I'm like, why did you even put the dog in this movie? I know Girl Support Group was a solid book. I feel like people don't appreciate the meta-ness. So that's referring to the Grady Hendrix book. I liked it. I will say it was like my least favorite Grady Hendrix, I think, but I still gave it like 3 stars, 3.5. Like, I still liked it. I still thought it was like a good book. It was a good thriller, in my opinion. I know it gets a lot of hate, and it seems like everyone loves to hate that book, but I didn't think it was bad. So, a book series over 8 is too long of a series. Girl. A book series over 3 is too long for the series. Classic sci-fi is one of the most sexist book genres. I don't read classic sci-fi, so I have no idea. No clue. I don't think I've ever read like a classic sci-fi. The most sci-fi I've ever read is Blake Crouch, who I'm obsessed with, so don't come for him. But no, he's not sexist. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on that one. Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and anything magical or fantasy is pure bullocks. Sorry, I'm from the United States. So, okay, here's the thing. I tried watching Lord of the Rings. I fell asleep. I tried watching it twice. I fell asleep both times. I like Harry Potter. I liked Harry Potter when I was younger. I was obsessed with Harry Potter, but I hate J.K. Rowling. So yeah, but I will say, when like Lord of the Rings, when they speak in those accents, it's like suddenly I don't understand English. Am I the only one? Like even with subtitles, it's like I feel like I don't speak English all of a sudden. I'm like, wait a second, what are they saying? What are they saying? And then I'm reading the subtitles, but they're talking, and it's just an ADHD situation for me. I just can't focus. I'm over it. Audiobooks are stupid. No, okay, so I agree and I disagree. So here's the thing. I wouldn't say audiobooks are stupid. But here's the thing. I think they are, I don't know, they come in handy. Like I listen to audiobooks if I'm having a really boring day at work, which is not often. I will listen to an audiobook. If I am doing chores, sometimes I'll listen to an audiobook. Like if I'm doing some like mind-numbing task, I'm sometimes in the mood to listen to an audiobook. And I think that's great, you know, but I'm not someone that likes audiobooks. I would much rather physically read because I can't pay attention to audiobooks. If I'm trying to listen to an audiobook while doing a task, my ADHD does not let me listen to that audiobook. So I feel like I miss a lot when it comes to audiobooks, and I just feel like I end up rating my books really low when I'm listening to them on audio compared to if I physically read them. So I don't think they're stupid. I just think that they're not for me and they're not for everyone. I know a lot of people that can pay attention to audiobooks, that prefer audio, and like that's great for them. It's just not for me. Emily Henry is overrated. Agree. Listen, it needed to be said, okay? I am so tired of everyone sharing Emily Henry all the time. I read that one book. What's the one with the orange cover? The People We Meet on Vacation? It was like not good. It was boring. I didn't understand the hype. I don't get it, whatever. But I'm not a romance girly, so once again, I don't get it. Happy endings, yeah. I feel like, especially in thrillers, like I see happy endings. It always has to end with like the main character succeeding and like the bad guy gets taken down. And it's like, for once, I just want a thriller with like the bleakest, most like absurd, depressing ending. It's because I feel like a happy ending is so predictable. I feel like sometimes knowing that it's gonna be a happy ending just like takes the thrill out of it, you know? I'm thinking instead of Goodreads just to rip the front page out. Wait, I am thinking instead of Goodreads just to rip the front page off and save them instead in real life like wall art. Why? I mean, that would be great. That would be like a really nice wall decor piece. But instead of Goodreads, like, is that your rating system? You're just gonna like rate them? Girl, I need an explanation, okay? So yeah, that is it. Those are all the unpopular opinions. Unfortunately, I agree with most of you. So I guess we are just all in this awkward group of people together that don't fit in. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, something different, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.